Your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Blues and Senators tonight. I'm going to have a little bit of a pregame show action with you, talking about all the ways that the St. Louis Blues should and can defeat those Ottawa Senators. Also, play off hopes. Now, I purposely spelled it like this because I got to play or they're off. I'll explain my wording. And then, of course, the keys to victory. So a lot to dive into on today's episode of Locked On Blues. I do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Hello, happy Thursday, everybody. It is March 21st as the St. Louis Blues head out to Ottawa to take on the Senators for a little bit of an earlier puck drop than we're used to. It's going to be a 6 p.m. puck drop. And, I like these early puck drops. Don't get me wrong, but I definitely prefer the later puck drops. So that kind of threw me off today a little bit. But huge game as the Minnesota Wild actually did lose last night. And then obviously a couple nights ago, the Lightning did beat the Golden Knights. So luckily the Blues are still 4 points behind the Knights. And they're 1 point behind Minnesota. That's why this game is so important. But you're probably clicking on this video saying, Haley, who even is a star defenseman on the St. Louis Blues? Well, it's not a star defenseman, and I'm being really ironic in my wording because the way that the Blues posted this onto their social media made it seem like this defenseman was like the best defenseman of all time to wear the blue note. And we know he's not. He's a player that I have defended not because of his defensive skills, but because of his offensive skills. I think that he's a really good offensive player, despite the fact that he plays defense. But it is Torrey Krug. He will be out. So right now, Krug will be out day to day with a lower body injury. And here's the thing. Whenever a player is out due to a lower body injury, I wish they could just explain what that injury was. It's always so secretive. Oh, a lower body injury, but yet they can't explain why. It's always upper body, lower body. It's never, and sometimes mid body. That's been happening. But yeah, Torrey Krug will be out. And now Zach Dean was recalled by the Blues. And right now, I am so happy that that even happened because Coach Bannister said, we want to give him an opportunity to come up and play. And it gives us the opportunity to put fresh legs in the lineup. And oh man, I am a huge Zach Dean fan. I think every single person that follows this podcast truly knows how I have been, on his side. And I've been advocating for us. Not us, but for him. And overall, that's us. But Zach Dean said, obviously, your first game, it only happens once. So get out there and enjoy it. He said, I'm just going to play my game, I think, and don't try too much. Keep it simple and enjoy it. And I cannot put into words how excited I am to see Zachary Dean do his rookie lap. That is something that I think all of us can relate to is, having a prospective player. I saw Dean play with the Thunderbirds. Having a player that, you've just been following for such a long time, knowing that they're going to be a huge part of your organization and just the anticipation. I remember when Perunovich had his rookie lap, and I was really excited about that. Now I know that hasn't been that successful of a player, but even Jake Neighbors, there's so many players on the Blues that I just have been so excited about and seeing how they're going to perform. So I also agree with what Coach Bannister said that putting fresh legs out on the ice at homestand, it was a tough one. And I know that they had a couple days off between games, kind of a couple, if 30-something hours, if you're going to be all exact. But, you're heading out, so you're traveling. So heading out to Ottawa, you have a crucial 2 points up at stake. And for the Blues, this is a must-win game. I understand. Hale, it's not the end of the world. It is the end of my world. So I'm going to talk about the lineup and what we can expect to see on the ice tonight for those St. Louis Blues. So in that first line, we have Robert Thomas obviously centering, and he'll be winged by, it's a little bit different actually this time. I mean, it's the same kind of lineup that they had the last game, but it is Braden Shen and Jake Neighbors. So Shenny on the left wing and Neighbors on the right wing. Then on that second line, centering, we have Pavel Buchnevich, and then on his left wing is Braden Saad, and then Jordan Kyrou on the right. That third line, we already know how I feel about that one. It is Kevin Hayes centering, and he'll be winged by Zach Bolduc, another guy that was recently called up from the T-Birds, and Kasperi Kapanen on the right wing. Then we had that fourth line. Oh, you don't understand, first off, how cool this is to say. But on that fourth line, centering for the St. Louis Blues, Zachary Dean. And then we have Alexei Turchenko on the left and Nathan Walker on the right. I cannot believe it. I'm so excited for him, I have to tell you. It's really good stuff going on right now of Zachary Dean. I just love it. Wait. No, I lied. I said rookie lap. He already had his rookie lap. I was thinking of the Bidden boys. Just don't mind me. Too many prospects in my head. If you're watching this, you're like, wait, did Haley just... The Biddens, that's who I just ignore. He was recalled earlier this month, and I just got that mixed up. Anyways, it's still cool to see him in the lineup. I mean, he was recalled, but it's a whole thing. Okay, on defense, we have Nicoletti and Colton Parayko. Then we have Marco Scandella, who has not been playing well at all, and Justin Folk. Again, not even see much of him. Scott Perunovich and Matthew Kessel. And in net, we have Joel Hofer. Personally, I am a huge Hofer fan. I just really hope that he is able to play good. It is just, it's a tough situation because I know that they're playing against the Senators, and I know Ottawa isn't, this great team, a team that we should be that concerned about. But I am uber concerned about this one because the Blues need to win tonight. I asked you on Twitter at Locked On Blues. I said, well, I asked a couple things. My first thing was the Blues need to beat Ottawa. And Rob said, Jersey's ready to go. The fellas better show up tonight. They better show up tonight. Justin said Ottawa is a must win. If the Blues can beat Ottawa, Minnesota, and then Vegas, you have a great chance. And then Luther said Vegas loss would be cool too. The Knights need to lose. And I hate this. I said this all along, but it's kind of like a gamble, right? Where you're really hoping for another team to not do well. And I think that right now it's one of those situations, and you and I have talked about it, where the two teams that the Blues are most concerned about at the moment are the Minnesota Wild and the Las Vegas Golden Knights. And you have an opportunity where you're playing against an Ottawa team. And I'm going to talk more about in details about how I think the Blues can beat the Senators. But you're going to be playing against an Ottawa team that isn't as skilled, that isn't as talented on the ice as a unit. Individually, there are some very good players. I never want to knock a team down anymore because at the end of the day, talent on every team. But overall, the Blues are a better team. Do I think that this is going to be an easy win? No. Nothing is easy with the St. Louis Blues. But I do think that they have a really good shot of winning. I was actually talking on Twitter with my friends at Locked On Senators about this game. And I'm like, hey, listen, we need these 2 points more. And they were, yeah, we know you do. So is Folk out of the lineup? No, he's in. It's Torrey Krug. The Blues, let me go check on that tweet. The way that the Blues worded it really made it seem like it was this whole... it says the Blues will be without a key defenseman. I'm sorry. It said the Blues will be without a key defenseman tonight. And then all of the comments said, key is a bit of a stretch. Key. It gets better. OMG, no way. Good news. Just go ahead and sit him the rest of the year. I'm sorry, Victoria Krug is definitely not a key defenseman. Key is a funny word. We legit have a chance without Krug. Krug doesn't deserve this hate. I mean, that is true. But it is kind of funny. It just kept on saying key, 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 key. Sorry, somebody rang my doorbell, but I'm not going to answer. This is way more important. Also, very inconvenient timing for someone to ring my doorbell. So those comments made me giggle. But I'm going to talk more about the ways that the Blues should and can beat those Ottawa Senators coming up. But first, I'm going to tell you about my friends over at Game Time. You shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. You can get those last-minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals, and more. Easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. And you also get to see the view from your seat. And obviously, you get that lower price guarantee and event cancellation protection, job loss prevention, and more. So one thing that I love about Game Time is that you can get those deals right up as the event's about to happen. So go to the parking lot, wait in the parking lot, and then buy your tickets like 10 minutes before the event. And I promise you, you will get the actual lowest price because they do not want to scam you. And they're always obsessed with helping you find ways to save money. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So I hope you all got a good laugh in. And Darkness said, I don't know why, but this has the feeling of a game the Blues should win, but somehow won't. That describes the season, right? Where every single season you look at, the Blues, and I'm saying season, I'm taking away the cup winning season. And they get to the end of the season and you're like, oh, this team's gonna be dominant, and then they end up falling apart with easy to win games. But you know how it goes. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about ways, and I'm gonna get to your comments live on YouTube. So make sure you give me those comments in the YouTube section. And of course, anybody on YouTube right now, I see you, I hear you, and I will respond to every single one of you because you're just as important to the show as anything else going on. So the show is about you and I. Obviously, on Tuesday, they had that 4-3 loss to the Avalanche. And again, I blame the ref. Now, people were arguing with me, Haley, it wasn't the ref's fault. I still don't think that was a tripping call. I really don't. And I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, that's how it is. So Captain Braden Shed said after the game, when you make mistakes, those guys, there's a reason they have so many points as they do, and they capitalize. So I'm glad that Braden Shed's able to see why the why the Avalanche, Colorado, have over 93 points. It's because of the fact that they take shots. They're taking a risk on the ice. They're playing as a unit. Opposite of what St. Louis is doing. So I'm just saying that. Another thing that Bannister said was, I thought we generated a lot of offense against a good team that plays fast. The chances were there for us. Certainly, we like to see us cash in on a couple of those extra chances that we had. But obviously, I thought our guys played well here. Now, Bannister said that. I don't know how I feel about that comment. I don't, because again, what is he doing that's, actually helping? So, yeah. They recently just played the Bruins, the Senators, and they lost 6-2. Now, am I surprised? No. But here's the thing. I don't think the Senators are awful. I mean, I know they're not a good team. But after the first period, they only trailed by 1 point. So it's kind of like they did put up a bit of a fight. So, yeah. So when it comes to a guy on the Senators, obviously, who on the Senators comes to mind when you think of a powerhouse player? Obviously, you're going to think of Brady Tkachuk. So for those that need a little bit of like a refresh, their father, Keith Tkachuk, played for us in St. Louis. And none of those kids wanted to come here. I mean, if they really wanted to be on the Blues, they would have found a way. So that kind of bothers me. But Tkachuk leads the Senators with 57 points in those 66 games. And It's funny because Brady and Matthew, I mean, they're both St. Louis natives, and I could do a whole episode explaining why I think that they would be beneficial to the Blues, but whatever. Brady Kachuk is like all they really have, so it is what it is. And in their last many games against the Sens, the Blues are 12-4-4, so obviously St. Louis is the better team usually when it comes to them. In their last 3 trips, though, the Blues are 2-1-0, so obviously they, it was, you can't be perfect. But at the end of the day, I think that this will be a really good team. Dean's going to make his debut, as I said. Jake Neighbors, another good player to watch. But I don't think that the Ottawa Senators are, I mean, I know that they're not a good team. But they do put up a good fight in the first period, and they do come out hard. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, the Ottawa Senators, they don't do anything. Like, obviously, they have a team that is that all I'm going to say? They have a team. No, like they have a team that has, some talent, but I feel like my friends from Locked On Senators are going to be like, Haley, what is this? But I'm going to tell you their lines going forward for tonight. And I think that at the end of the day, any team can beat any team on any given night. I don't think that, it's a whole, confusing thing like, oh no, the Ottawa Senators, what's going to happen? I just think that again, I am being nice when I am saying this, but here's the projected lineup for those Ottawa Senators. If I mess up on any of their names, I don't really care because they're not my team and everyone has confusing names. And that first line, you have a Brady Kachuk on the left wing, and you have Shane Pinto. I know Shane Pinto is a good player. So, I mean, I would be more concerned about that first line. Actually, the first 2 lines I'd be concerned about. And then you have Drake Batherson. In that second line, you have Joseph, Stutzel, and then Giroux. None of these guys really do it for me. Then on that third line, you have Greg, Openchuck, and I'm messing up all these names. I don't really care. Kulabik. And then in that fourth line, you have Kachuk, Kastelik, and Kelly. Again, none of these players really scream to me, oh, I'm terrified. And then on defense, you have Sanderson, Zub, Chabot, Brenstrom, Trishrun, and then Bernard Docker in net tonight. Oh, they don't have Forsberg in net. Oh, that's not good. They have Corpusello. So, geez, not good for them. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit more about something else, and I'm going to get back to that game tonight. But I need to talk to you about my friends over at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Let's look at some of your comments and react to what you think about this game. So Blondie Girl says, I hope this isn't a trap game. We need to knock the Knights and make the playoffs. That would make me happy. This very well could be a trap game. I could very realistically see the Blues trail 1-0 after the first period. Darkness says, it may have been tripping, but they missed a more blanted trip earlier in the game on a breakaway. As I did a whole episode yesterday on the officials this season. They have just been really, really bad. Then Marissa, and I feel like the Blues are been playing like they want to, though, recently compared to a few weeks ago. I agree. Definitely a step up in how they're playing hockey. No doubt about that. It's just more one of those things of the consistency. And I feel like all season, this team has lacked consistency. They've gone on those hot streaks, they have gone on cold streaks, but there seems to be no consistency. I remember in the beginning of the season, and it was a joke that I kept on making here in Locked On Blues. It was about the pattern where the Blues would win a game, they would lose a game, they would win, they would lose. And it just didn't seem to have any consistency to it. So I do feel like, though, in the past couple weeks, they have been playing better hockey, which I am very proud of them about. And then Darkness says, I'm excited to see how Dean performs tonight. Me as well. I have been a huge Zach Dean fan. I keep on saying that, but it is the truth. I think that he is such a good player. And I understand, on the fourth line, but hey, that is your time to shine. Anytime that you have an opportunity to play on, any line in the National Hockey League, that is a very good thing. And here's the thing, too, about the St. Louis Blues that you have to remember is that they're allowing the younger guys to really make a difference. Dean centering Twerchenko and Nathan Walker is honestly going to help him out so much. I do believe that. I think that Nathan Walker is playing his best hockey that he's been playing in a while. And Twerchenko, he's been scoring and he's been getting those points in, so you can't decline him of not putting in effort. I do like, though, in that first line, they moved, and I know I haven't really talked about it this much, but I do like that they did move Braden Shen up to wing Thomas. I think that's their keys to the most success. Make that first line the most powerful line. And the keys of success, keys to victory that I want to talk to you about is that first line. You have Braden Shen, Robert Thomas, and Jake Neighbors. Jake Neighbors especially, I feel like this will be a very good game for him tonight. And this will be a game where you're going to really see a dominant offensive St. Louis Blues. Because I'm not trying to be mean, but those Ottawa Senators don't have such great defense. And I feel like the Blues, they have good offense, okay? That's what they're better in. It's the offense, not the defense. And I feel like tonight they're going to be able to show off their offensive skills and capitalize on that. So I have another comment. Twerp says, impressed me as of late. Me too. He's been playing better hockey. And I think right now the St. Louis Blues know that this is do or die time. And this is why you're going to see more aggressive hockey. You're going to see the Blues do things that we're usually not used to seeing them doing. Now, I do have to say, on that second line, I do like Bush, don't get me wrong. But even with him, I need to see more. I need to see more out of Saad. Kyrou, I need to see less turnovers. Okay, Jordan Kyrou. Now, if we're going to talk about defense for a second, because I feel like I kind of always ignore the defense. I'm always more focused on the offense. I kind of am intrigued, okay, about how Perunovic will play tonight. He is paired up with Matthew Kessel. I like Kessel a lot, huge fan of him. But Perunovic, he's been a little bit invisible. So again, I need to see more out of him. Marco Scandella too. Haven't seen much. So how can we see good hockey tonight? We got to hope that the Blues come out swinging from the start. And I don't want any more of these Drew Bannister excuses of, oh, well, they're a good team. No, we know for a fact that the Ottawa Senators collectively as a team are not a good team. We don't need any more Drew Bannister excuses. So the Blues need to play hard hockey, play aggressive hockey, and win. I usually don't give score predictions because, well, I'm usually right when I do give them. So I tend not to give them because I don't want to be then wrong. But if I had to give a score prediction for tonight, I say a 4-2 victory for the St. Louis Blues. I think obviously, the Blues' defense isn't stellar either, but I think that the Suns are going to get a couple goals in, but overall, I think the Blues are going to win, and it's going to be a high-scoring game. All right, well, it's almost time for puck drop, so that means that I am going to get my TV set up to watch some Blues hockey. And like usual, let's go Blues.